Hi guys, here's the thing. I've lost track of what I'm doing. I'm coming to you in a state of disarray. I just finished reading this, oh my god, this fucking book. And I am a goddamn mess. And we're gonna talk about it. My name is Logan and welcome to the Bi Book Boy. I am a chaotic bisexual. I read books. I think it's been like a hot sec since I've done that intro. Anyway, in one of the original Bi Book Club live stream, Mare from Mare Reads and Emily from Emily Reads Books all recommended that I read Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. Backman? Backman. I think it's Backman. I don't know. You told me to read this book, and I did. And I am just so many words. Firstly, I'm just gonna point out the elephant in the room here. This was a spot-on fucking recommendation, because if you know anything about me, my favorite shit to read is really well-written but funny character studies that take a group of people and put them in a situation that's not necessarily plot driven, but just in which character driven, in which you get to just know every character and watch them interact and see their little idiosyncrasies and shit. And that is just my kryptonite. And I also love books that emotionally fucking wreck me. And this is both. Stormy! I love you. How to describe this book without spoiling it? Oh, there's hair on my mic. I'm gonna do a light spoilers just because this was booking. This book was written in 2019. So it's relatively recent, and I feel like a lot of people haven't really read it. Fredrik Backman's a lot more popular for A Man Called Ove and Tell My Grandmother. Oh god, the one about Tell My Grandmother. He's got a bunch of books. He's a very prolific person. Basic plot Sinatra. Plot Sinatra. Is that Sinatra and cilantro? I just... Basic plot synopsis. This book follows a bank robbery that is turned hostage drama, and then the police investigation afterwards. But the thing about this bank robber is they're really not good at bank robbing or hostage dramaing. So and all of these hostages could give 7 shits maximum. So it turns into this really funny situation in which these people are forced to be together and get to know these complete strangers because they're being held hostage. And there's all these little mini connections that are made that you get to explore each person's backstory of who they are and how they got to this specific place that led them here, including the bank robbers and the 2 cops. And it's just simultaneously so funny and also so devastating. And I think that's mostly due to the writing style, and that this is the first time I've read Fredrik Backman. And to describe his writing style, I would say if William Goldman, the author of The Princess Bride, took all of his funny little witty banter and really witty narration and shit and combined it with Hanya Yanagihara's emotional intelligence and just sheer emotional depth. Hanya Yanagihara wrote A Little Life. That's what this writing style is. I would describe this as 300 pages of sarcastic, witty narration that is full of really funny and smart truths about humanity and the human consciousness, interspersed with a bunch of very deep and just emotionally raw observations about the human consciousness and what it is to be in love or friends with someone or have respect for someone, or like even just like the state of the world and like capitalism and shit, the humor like gets you going and gets you with the story, and like all of the characters like just captivate you, and then once you're in and your guard's down, suddenly you're just sobbing at this emotional sentence that was said, and your boss is asking if you're okay or you need a 10-minute break. Yes, that is a personal anecdote, because I made the dumb fucking decision to read this book at work at my desk, and I started crying more than once over a book at my place of professional employment. This cat is headbutting me. Hold on. When my cat wants to be where you are sitting, she headbutts you until you sit down. I don't know if you can you see her? Can you see this cat? Storm. I don't know. Firstly, there is really good representation in this book, in that two of the hostages are a lesbian couple that are about to have a baby, and there's just all of this wonderful banter about like the way that they interact with each other and the way they interact with everyone else, and like it's really wonderful representation because it humanizes them. Also, there's an elderly woman who calls her euphemism for the homosexuals is Stockholmers, as in like people from Stockholm. And I just want from now on I would like to be referred to as a Stockholmer, please and thank you. There's a married couple who are like in real estate investment and like competitive about it, and like their interactions, like they have these really wonderful moments where like their life is juxtaposed with the young lesbian couple's life, and like they both spouses get like a chance to connect with the other like the other couple's respective spouses, and it's really wonderful and it's really cute. There's a 90-year-old woman named Estelle who's just there, and like she is just, oh my, I can't say anything about Estelle without spoiling things, but she is my spirit animal. She's so funny, but also so just poignant, and it makes you sad. There's a banker named Zara who's like disillusioned with life, and we follow her through like not only this but then also like her therapy appointments leading up to this, so we get to like really get a glimpse into just like the corporate world, and then also just like what a real what real therapy is. Like this is the most realistic, at least from my experience, representation of therapy I've seen in media in a while, and that it wasn't like and how does that make you feel on a couch or whatever. It was just like what eventually devolved into two friends talking and connecting, and that's just so wonderful. If you want discussions of love and how it changes over the span of a relationship, read this book. If you want a discussion of a realistic discussion of therapy and how that affects people, read this book. If you want a very realistic depiction and exploration of mental health and the way that it affects your everyday life, read this book. If you want an exploration of family dynamics and how they extend past through just trials and tribulations, and through things like addiction and like loss of life and like loss of religion, read this book. If you want a really beautiful exploration of grief and how every human being, no matter what our age or our life story or our backstory is, experiences grief, read this book. In the end, this is really a story about how beautiful it is that the world is fucked up in the specific way that the world is fucked up. This is the book for you. Favorite character I would have to say is Estelle, the old woman, or Zara, the banker. Favorite relationship I would have to say are between Julia and Annalena. Annalena, I think is her name. Or Annaliana, I don't remember. Which is one of the lesbians and the wife in the older married couple. They're a really beautiful connection, and I love that. Favorite plot device? I'm gonna say fireworks. Those of you who have read this book know what the fuck I'm talking about. Those of you that have not read this book, don't worry, I didn't spoil anything for you. Go read this book. Oh, my other favorite character is London, the banker, who just doesn't give a shit about anything. I aspire to be London. Oh my god. Oh, favorite quote. There's a few. You don't fall in love with gender. Mostly you fall in love with an idiot. They say that a person's personality is the sum of their experiences, but that isn't true. At least not entirely. Because if our past was all that defined us, then we'd never be able to put up with ourselves. We need to be allowed to convince ourselves that we are more than mistakes we made yesterday. We are all of our next choices too. All of our tomorrows. That's the sort of thing you really never notice until you belong to someone else. The fact that those of us who give our children their names are the least willing to use them. We give those we love nicknames because love requires a word that belongs to us alone. Okay, I'm gonna, if I read any more quotes, I'm gonna start crying again. I guess what we'll end on is this book gets the 5-star Italian grandma stamp of approval. Oh my god, it was so good, you guys. Go read this fucking book. If you enjoyed that completely unfocused rant review of this book, and you want more chaotic bisexual content, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get my videos whenever I decide to post them. If you have read this book, comment, like, spoiler-free comments for sure, please, but please interact with me down there. If you haven't read this book, also please interact with me down there. Just interact in the comments. I like talking to people. I like you guys. Yeah, I guess share this video, not just for the YouTube algorithm, but just because I want people to read this fucking book. Yeah, if you want to talk spoilers, DM me on Instagram, please. My Instagram is down in the bio below, just because I need people who have read this book to freak out about it with me. Yeah, until next week, this has been the Bye Book Boy, and I am saying bye.